Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Don't know what you guys are doing this wonderful Friday, but I'm happy to be able to be alive and to be able to see and talk and walk, all of the above. I hope you guys are not hearing too much rumbling and rustling, but as I was on this drive, I thought I would do a video. We're going to talk about not waiting until the sequel. Don't wait for the sequel. Don't wait for the part 2. Okay? A lot of times, guys, there are things that's right in your face, whether it is an intimate relationship, someone that you're interested in, a friendship, family members, business partner, church associate. There's things that you see very clearly, and signs and everything that are showing you this is wrong. There's foul play here. This is not genuine. A lot of times the things that's been hidden have come to light. And especially with Christians and believers, you think that when those things come to light, it's come to light just for you to forgive and forget. No, some things are so you can see what it is and safeguard yourself. See what's there and not enter into any sort of agreements. Do not exchange vows with a person who is of low character, low morals, bad temperament. When you find out things that they told you were true that were not true and it's come out, it's not for you to be a saint and continue to be with them in a relationship. It's not for you to continue to go to that church and be in that ministry. Sometimes as Christians, we can put unnecessary burdens on ourselves and then come out with all these speed knots and heartache and bitterness and anger in your heart because the alarms were going off and showing you what was what. But you thought it was for you to be holy and humble and continue on. There's nothing in the Bible that's telling us that God is just okay and tolerant in sin and encouraging us to stay in mess. You won't really read a lot of stuff going on in the Bible about any of the followers of God just going through constant and perpetual narcissistic relationships. It just wasn't. I think the closest thing that we can get to, there's a couple of individuals one was Saul, his behavior with David. There was Ahab and Jezebel. They behaved a certain way. There's probably a few more individuals in the Bible who displayed that, but there was nothing where the Lord was telling David, oh, David, stay right here and just allow yourself to be abused. You know, these individuals may have had some time where they lived with or was working with these individuals, but in most cases, they were separated. You know, Elijah was not told to stay there and try to work things out with Ahab and Jezebel. I forgot the name of the man that got killed for his vineyard. He wasn't told, well, just go ahead and let him have it. I will bless you with more. No. Okay? Now, he ended up losing his life, taking his stand. Okay? But what I'm saying is, there's just nothing, when you see certain things and when God reveals people to you, pay attention to it. It's not for you to be trying to understand them and trying to get them right. They are adults. They are adults and they know better and they should know better. You cannot raise what's already raised and grown. Okay? And a lot of times these individuals, they already know that their behavior is unacceptable. Okay? But they have reached a place of defiance. They've reached a place of indifference. They've reached a place of, well, somebody's going to deal with me as I am. And you got to stay away from that, guys. Don't wait for the sequel. Don't wait for the part 2. Don't wait to see how it's going to end. When someone shows you who they are and they show you that they are not for you, that betrayal, pay attention to it. Why is it that a lot of times people going to wait until they get hit over the top of the head with a loaf of bread before they understand? Or even then, you get hit with a loaf of bread. Well, it's not that bad. It was bread. If they really wanted to hurt me, they would have hit me with something else. So if it's just a loaf of bread, oh, and he or she hit me with a sweet loaf of bread, that means they love me and they want to sweeten the blow. This is the beginning in the downward spiral of loving in an unhealthy type of way, forgiving in an unhealthy type of way. Forgiving you does not mean I still allow you in my space. Forgiving you does not mean we're going to get back together. Forgiving you does not mean I'm going to still be a member of your church. Forgiving you does not mean that I continue to give you the same access as I did in our friendship. Sometimes people think that when you're setting boundaries, you're being an unforgiving person, and it's not Christian-like to say no more. It's not, you're not a nice person. And whether you're Christian or not, people just don't like boundaries. But yet, a lot of the people who cross your boundaries and do things wrong to you, they set their boundaries. You are not going to do the things that, if you dared to do the things that they have done to you, they wouldn't tolerate it. It's amazing how people will repeatedly cheat on somebody, but if they get cheated on, it's the end of the world. They can be rude and disrespectful and say things they're not supposed to say and do things they're not supposed to do. But if you get frustrated and you do it back to them, they can sit there and have this well thought out conversation about everything that was wrong about it, the cause and the effects of it, the consequences. They can give you all the angles of the wrong and all lay out everything and how the domino effect of your actions and all of that, because they know the difference between right and wrong. Adults are not meant to be coddled. Adults are not meant to be, an adult male or female are not meant for you to be guiding them. They're beyond that. Okay? And when I say that, I mean just in terms of everyday common sense conduct. Please, thank you, excuse me, don't lie, don't take from people, being respectful, being considerate. It's wrong to lie. It's wrong for me to take this. It's wrong for me to behave this way. It's wrong for me to talk to you this way. They already know that. That's why a lot of the wrong that they do, they're not going to do it in front of other people. That's why it's hard for other people to believe that your wife or your husband or this person you know or this friend or your pastor or your bishop or your prophet, it's hard for them to believe that they're this way because they don't do it to everybody, because they know it's wrong. So they'll show you their ugly side, and then to everybody else, they're doing good. To everybody else, they're giving in the community. They're giving back in the community. But that's facade management. Okay? Facade is that they're having this, they're working on the outer image, and they are doing things where, how will anyone believe that the person who's giving it back to the community, who's donating, who's giving large cash donations, or they may work for a appliance company and they're giving people free appliances and they're coming to help do this and that. Why would anybody believe that this person is being this way? Who's going to believe that this woman is how she is, that she is actually very vindictive and manipulative to you and disrespectful, where in another area she's helping to take care of the homeless, She is giving free gift cards out for the community. She is giving you vouchers to a salon. She is helping people to get into schools. She's helping people to write their resume. She's doing all these things. Who is going to believe that she is a horrible wife at home? Who is going to believe that she is a vindictive friend? So a lot of times these individuals are not doing things that everybody can see. And the reason why they isolate it and it's not done in public is because they know it's wrong. That's why they won't even admit. They don't even want to face what they have done, the ugly things that they've done, when they've lied and they've done things, and they deny it because they're that filthy. They are that bad that they won't even acknowledge. They won't even acknowledge what they have done, because what they've done is that atrocious that not even they themselves want to acknowledge it. And so what did I say? They'll rather play the head games, play the mind games. They'll rather talk to you and make you feel as if what happened never happened, and what you heard you didn't hear, and you didn't hear it right, and it was something wrong with you, and you didn't have breakfast that morning, so you must have hallucinated and made it all up. But what are people doing? They're waiting. The person have showed you that they have the ability to be violent. They have the ability to sabotage you. They have it within them to be unfaithful. They have no loyalty. You see, people will show you this, but if you stick around for the sequel, you stick around for the part 2, that's when it gets worse. It gets a whole lot worse. An individual will say, well, people make mistakes. There's some things that are mistakes and other things that's deliberate. You can't mistakenly lie. You can't mistakenly cheat. You can make a mistake and think that I told you to come somewhere at 6 when I said 6:30, or come at 5 when I said 4. Those are mistakes. Mistakes are things that were not premeditated, and hey, it just happened. Okay? You can't make a mistake and cheat. You can't mistakenly take off, unbutton your clothes, unbutton his clothes, her clothes, whatever. Take all your clothes off, lay down, get in position, and it's a mistake. Mistakes are genuine misunderstandings and errors, not deliberate hurtful actions. All right? And so what happens is we have to reach a point to see things for what it is. A lot of times, as I said in past videos, people are just afraid to be alone. They're afraid to be alone. Sometimes people are afraid of being kicked out of a group. Sometimes people want that man or that woman, no matter what, just to be able to say, oh, this person is my boyfriend, this person is my girlfriend, this is my fiance, this is my wife, this is my husband, because they're looking at all these different things about the person, but they're going to ignore the obvious. Don't wait for the sequel. Don't be like those people in the horror movies. When I was younger, I watched horror movies a lot. And the classic thing was they'll hear a sound. And they hear a sound, okay, other people has already died around them. Okay? Jason or Freddy Krueger, Jason or whoever has already showed up and done some stuff. But what are they going to do? They hear a sound downstairs and talking about, hello? Michael, is it you? Going down the stairs in the dark, getting hit over the head with a loaf of bread by Jason. You watch those movies where they're going to the camp that's been known for hauntings, and they're so excited, oh my gosh. I wonder what we'll see. So they'll go in there and go move into the house or go to the campsite where there's been murders in the past. They know there have been legends of a murder, and a group of campers got killed there, but they're gonna move in. right? It's the same thing. The warning signs, the things that are shown to us, guys, we have to pay attention to it. Because when it's all said and done, the proverb talks about where you say, alas, if I had listened to instructions, had I listened. You don't have to wait for that. You don't have to wait for what you thought was sweet. You don't have to wait for it to turn to gravel in your mouth. You don't have to wait until your body is showing the result of trusting a person that you shouldn't have. You don't have to wait until you're looking at the barrel of a gun or looking into these dead, dark, vacant eyes of a person that's about to hurt you or take your last breath. You know, there are lots of people who have died, and their last moments, it's like they probably have regret. They may call for their mother or father. They pray to God, pleading and begging with this person, thinking that what they've always done, thinking what they've always said was going to stop them this time. But they didn't. They thought that they stayed with a person when they first hit them, first lied to them, first cheated on them, first betrayed them. That friend that is jealous, they ignored they ignored that jealous friend. They ignored all the years and all the moments that the person did things to sabotage them. The friend that tried to take your boyfriend or your girlfriend. The friend that always embarrasses you and brings up your secret. The friend that told your secret. The friend that sabotaged your birthday. The friend that want to blow out your birthday candles and open up your presents. The friend that makes you feel bad for existing. Makes you feel bad for being able to achieve things. You keep that person around you. Eventually, when you keep waiting for the sequel and then the next chapter and the next chapter, what's going to happen is eventually the ending is not going to be good. So when they're staring at that friend holding that weapon in their hand, and they think that it's going to be business as usual, they think that they're going to be able to talk to the friend and maybe argue again or appease them. You realize, no, that's not going to happen. And they lose their life because they kept on going and going and going and going. And when you continue in a relationship with a person or a friendship or keep going to places and being in environments where people are showing you they don't respect you, they don't care, their apologies are just for the moment. They only come around when you can offer them something. When you see people who, and it's revealed to you, and you see that this person will betray you, when you see this family member will side with people against you, when they show you who they are, don't wait for the sequel. A lot of times, especially with family, it's not unusual for a person to have seen the sequel and all that stuff. Went and watched the trailer, the sequel, watched all this stuff, and go through certain chapters with a family member because there is a natural desire and a natural instinct for people to want to, family members, you want to believe the best. You don't want to believe that your family member is trying to betray you, so you're going to stick around a lot longer. But at some point, you're going to have to get the point. But when you see those signs, when you see those behaviors, when you see those repeated acts of betrayal, disrespect, yelling, screaming at you, disrespecting you, embarrassing you in front of friends and family, your spouse, physically assaulting you, ignoring the fact that you were physically assaulted, denying the fact of things that happened to you in your childhood and telling you it didn't happen, choosing someone over you, choosing your abuser over you, preferring one sibling over the other. Always allowing the younger sibling to get away with everything. Or always allowing the older sibling to get away with it. And yet and still, no matter all the things they've tried to do to you, when you were a child, a teenager, a young adult, you're still not getting it. You went and did well for yourself. You got yourself a house and everything. You're still trying to get the approval of this person. You move them in your house, you buy them a car, you buy them a house, you do this, and you're still being abused and still being mistreated. Why? You stuck around for the sequel. Well, here's a sequel now. Here's your life. And you brought this toxic person around in your life. This person whose heart is darkened, who has lost all sort of empathy, who have become entitled. You move them in somewhere, they're critical of this, they're critical of that. You're still buying stuff, you're still taking care of things, you're still doing this, still doing that. You bought them a car, they don't like it anymore. They expect you to pay the insurance, they expect you to do this. They curse you out if you don't, they shut down if you don't do that. That's your sequel. You've created that. When God shows you people, believe Him. Don't wait for the sequel. Don't wait until you have a sexually transmitted disease that you can't get rid of. Don't wait until now this man was already questionable when you were dating and now they've got someone else pregnant. Now there's some other woman in your life with his child. Don't wait until you've been seeing things about this woman and you have her in your life and now you've married her and you brought her into your business around you or moved her into your properties or whatever it may be, and she ruins you and makes up a story about you and you lose what you've worked for. She go out there and get pregnant and plant that baby on you and tell you this is your child, and everything in you know that's not your baby. But because you're tethered and you have a soul tie, you can't think straight. Or some of you found out well after the fact that this is not your baby. She still is snot and smug. That's the reality of waiting for the sequel. Waiting to see what else they have. Don't think and don't try to influence yourself that these individuals are going to change. They're not. That's how they are. They've been this way for a long time. When it comes to parents, they've been doing this way before you were born, honey. They're not going to change. Only thing that's going to change them is God, and they have to want to. It is not your responsibility to do that. They are adults. You are the child. They're not the children. And being the child does not mean that you are supposed to be abused. And why the Bible says, parents, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, lest they be discouraged. Now, while it says fathers, mothers can do that. Parents can provoke their children to a place of being discouraged, to a place of being angry, to a place of being bitter, and then going through life making everybody else's life miserable, because now they're carrying out what they call displacement, which is to take out all the hurt and pain on someone else who's completely innocent. So I want to stop here, guys. The toughest decisions you're going to have to make is pulling away from individuals. Sometimes you make things more complicated than it needs to be. You want to see, well, if I do this, then how's this going to turn out? If I do that, then how's that going to turn out? Oh, I wonder if this and that's going to happen. And you'll always be sitting there going, I wonder, while at the same time being completely depleted by someone who knows that you love them, a person who knows that you're a loyal friend, a person that knows that you're an asset to their ministry and you're going to keep on coming back no matter how much dirt they throw on you. With forgiveness, with love, with compassion, with empathy, you must have wisdom. So I don't know if I said with wisdom. So with compassion and forgiveness and empathy and kindness and patience, you must add wisdom. You need to have wisdom. Because if you don't have wisdom, you're going to be a fool. If you don't have wisdom, You're going to be sitting there getting beat up emotionally, physically, spiritually. You're going to have hope deferred, meaning promise after broken promise after broken promise after broken promises just coming your way over and over and over again. And the individuals will become so used to treating you badly that they're just going to become entitled. They're not going to care. They're going to blame you for it. Number one, and to some degree they can, because we are responsible for ourselves. So if you don't care enough about yourself, and I know it's not that you don't care, but you've lost your strength. You've lost the will. Probably early in the relationship, you would have been able to just leave. Even if you didn't want to, you'll do it. But when you stay in situations with individuals and you become attached to them, and you're used to that sort of toxicity, you lose yourself. And that's why at some point you don't know what to do anymore. You don't know how to stand up for yourself anymore. You start to think, oh, yeah, maybe I did do something to deserve this. You'll start to think that. Because your heart is sick. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. It eats away at the soul and the mind and your reasoning. And the way you view yourself will change. So as I said at the beginning of this video, don't wait around for the sequel. It's better to hurt. It's better to be sad and hurt and crying as you heal moving forward. Because when you're moving forward, those tears are going to be your strength. Versus staying and crying and hurting and not going anywhere, staying there. And what's going to happen? You're going to drown in your tears. You're going to drown in misery. And by the time you think you're ready to go and do anything, as a matter of fact, you'll still be sitting there. And you know what they'll do? When they get tired of you, when they've used you for everything, they'll leave you and not think twice about it. And when you talk about how long you've been there and how long you stayed there, you know what they say? I didn't tell you to do that. Think about it. God bless.